Hello everyone, welcome to day 26 of June Lead Code Challenge, and today's question is count of smaller numbers after self. In this question we are given an array of integers and we need to tell the count of those numbers that are smaller than the current number to the right of the current element. So this is the input array that is given to us 5, 2, 6, 1, and this will be the output array. I'll explain the question itself as well as the solution in the presentation part. So without much ado, let's jump onto the presentation. Count of smaller numbers after self, lead code 315, hard problem. So let's try and understand the question with the same example that was specified there. The input array that is given to us is 5, 2, 6, 1. And what are the number of smaller numbers than 1 to the right of 1? 0. So this becomes 0. What is the count of those numbers that are smaller than 6 to the right of 6? It's 1, because one number is already there and the number itself is 1, which is lower than 6. So this becomes 1. What is the count of smaller numbers to the right of 2? It's 1, because 6 is greater than 2 and will not count it. There's only one contender for it, so therefore it becomes 1. What is the count of those numbers that are lower than 5 to the right of 5? 2. 2, this 2 and this 1. The count becomes 2 and the answer becomes 2. So this is the output array that we need to return. So the naive approach is pretty straightforward, order of n square complexity, and for each element you'll search the count of lower number to its right. But this is not what we want to do in this question. This being a hard problem, it has to be time efficient. So the prerequisite and the basic approach to solve this question is segment trees, and I explained each and every step involved in segment trees in my previous video, where I solved range sum query mutable problem, and the feedback I have received on that video has been commendable. Thanks for the love and support. I wanted to bring this up here itself because you won't be able to understand the problem if you have not gone through this video. If you don't know segment trees, you will not be able to understand anything beyond this point. So just hold on. I'm attaching the link of the video. Please jump to that video, then come back. I hope you would have seen the video by now. And the first step that we are going to do is to find the maximum and the minimum element in the given range of input data set. So what is the maximum element in this data range? The maximum element is 6. What is the minimum element in this data range? The minimum element is 1. So we have the minimum element as 1, the maximum element as 6. Step 2. What we are going to do? We'll build the segment tree for the given range, starting from the minimum 1 going up till the maximum 1. The minimum 1 being 1, the maximum 1 being 6. So these are the nodes that will be there in my segment trees, and each node will have few properties associated with it. The first one being the right child, the second one being the left child, the start index, the end index, and the sum value. I hope you would have understood this logic from the previous video. I have just copy pasted the same node over here. So let me just iterate through the nodes that I have built. The first one being 1, 1 that covers the range of 1, 1, and I have also mentioned the middle point of this range. So 1 plus 1 by 2 is 1 itself. It will help us in the algorithmic part. Just think that this is the midpoint of this range. 2, 2, starting index of this node is 2, ending index of this node is 2. 3, 3, starting index is 3, ending index is 3. 4, 4, starting index is 4, ending index is 4. 5, 5, starting index is 5, ending index is 5. 6, 6, starting index is 6, ending index is 6. So all these are the leaf nodes where you are observing the start index to be equal to the end index. And let's talk about the intermediary nodes. So this node covers two nodes internally. So the first node index, the one node index is the starting index, and 2 is the ending index for this node. For this node, the first one, the 1 is the starting index and 3 is the ending index. For this node, 1 is the starting index and this node is 6 is the ending index. For this, 4 is the starting node, 6 is the ending node. For this node, 4 is the starting node, this is the ending node. and we have gone through the complete tree right now. Now, what was the input array that was given to us? The input array was something like this: 5, 2, 6, comma 1. This was the input array that was given to us. What we are gonna do? Very simple, extremely simple. If we have understood segment trees, we'll be able to come up with the solution. We'll iterate in the reverse direction and we'll add 1 to our segment tree that we have built. Since we have added 1, so I'll update the nodes from the bottom of fashion. This gets updated, the count here, the sum count here gets updated to 1, and also it gets updated along the parent path. So along the parent path, this also gets updated. Along the parent path, this also gets updated. Along the parent path, this also gets updated. Now, in this current segment tree, we want to identify those nodes that lie within the range of minimum comma current element minus 1, because those will be lower than the current element, starting from the minimum 1 going up till element minus 1. If we are able to identify the count of those elements using the segment tree that we have built, that will give us the answer. So what would be that value in the first case? The minimum 1 is 1 and EL minus 1. EL is 1, so it's at 0. So that itself is a pretty obvious corner case. The start value is 1 and the end value is 0 that we want to search for. So we'll simply abort the process and return 0 for it. So the answer becomes 0. If you're not able to get this point, don't worry, I'll tell you in the coding section. Let's move ahead, and next element that we have is 6. So we'll update the segment tree in log and time complexity, and what all elements will be updated? This one, and we'll go up the parent path, this one and this one. So this gets updated from 1 to 2. And what all elements do we need to search in this tree now? The minimum value is 1. The ending value would be 6 minus 1, which is 5. If we can get the count of all those elements that lie within the range of 1, 5 from the segment tree in log and time complexity, our work is done. And we have done this in the previous video that I explained. So every time you need to check this value, you need to find this count value. You will find out the middle point starting from the roots node. If the middle point is within the range of these two nodes, that means you need to split and go in both the directions. So the left part would be something like this. We'll search for 1, 3, and in the right part we will search for 4, 5. Highly inspired by the range sum query mutable solution. And since at these nodes matches with the current node value, we will simply abort the process. We will not go into its children of this node, and we will return whatever the sum value is stored at this node, which is nothing but 1. So this method returns 1 to the parent one. Let's talk about the left part of it, the right part of it. We have the range as 4, 5. We want to search for all the nodes that lie within the range of 4, 5. And what is the midpoint of this node? The midpoint is 5 itself. Since it's equal to 5, we will move in the left direction. What is the count stored at this node? For the count is 0, and the search query is again starting at 4 ending at 5, and the node indices are also starting at 4 ending at 5. So it's a matching case, and the value held at this position is 0. We'll return 0 from it. So this returns 0, and this also returns 0. So what is our answer? 1 plus 0 is 1, and 1 becomes our answer. So for 6 we have 1 as our answer. Let's move ahead. We have 2 and 5 left. The next element would be 2. So we'll go and update the segment tree. Let me just change the color of pen, and let's take blue this time. And we'll update the segment tree, adding the second node, the node with second value in it. So we'll update this to 1. This node gets updated and all the nodes up in its trajectory will be updated. So this gets updated to 2, this gets updated to 2, this gets updated to 3. I hope you're following this. Every time we are updating a node in the segment tree, we have a decision either to move in the right direction or left direction. Therefore, the complexity of this approach is log n, not order of n. So again, let's calculate the count of those values which are lower than 2 in the segment tree. The range to be searched will be from the starting node, the minimum value is 1 and the element minus 1 is again 1. So we want to search for all the nodes that lie in the segment tree within this range 1, 1. And let's start with the roots node. The roots node is 1, 6, the middle point is 3 and it doesn't lie within this range. So where are we gonna move? We'll move towards the left direction. So we'll move here. And what is the middle point for this node? The middle point is 2 and the middle point is higher than the end of this node. Similarly was the case in the previous node as well, where we had 1, 6. 6 was greater than 1. Therefore we'll move towards the left direction. And what is the middle point in this case? The middle point is 1 and the ending point is 2, the starting point is 1, and we want to search for 1, 1. End point of this node and the end point of this value is higher, this value is higher than this, so we have to move in a left direction. So we'll go left, and this is the node that will give us the answer. Its starting point is 1, ending point is 1. It matches exactly with our range set and we'll return 1 from it. So for this, the answer becomes 1. So we have 0, 1, 1 as our answer so far. Let's fill in the last element 5. And what all elements will be filled in? Let me just change the color of my pen. Let's take yellow this time. And this will be updated to 1. This will be updated to 1. So this is 1. Since this is the parent of this node. And this will be updated to 2, this will be updated to 4. So we have 4 here. And let's try and search for the range. What would be the range? The range would be minimum is 1 and element minus 1 is 4. So we want to search for 1, 4. 4, 4 holds a value 0. So 0 will be returned across this path, and from the right of it you will get 0. The sum of left and right becomes 2. 2 plus 0 is 0 and the answer becomes 2. So we have the answer as 2, 1, 1, 0, which was expected. Without much ado, let's understand the coding part, talk less and code more. I hope by now you understood the core concept of the problem. The first thing that I've done here is to define my answer set, the counts array that will store the count of nodes that are lower than the current element to its right. I define two variables, min and max, and these two variables will help me find out the minimum and the maximum element across the complete range. I iterated over the input array and compared the current value with the minimum value. If it is lower, then I update the min. If for the maximum part, if it is higher, then I update the maximum variable. Then I invoke the build tree method that accepts two parameters in it, the minimum and the maximum range that we want to build the segment tree with. And it's a pretty straightforward method. We have also done a similar kind of stuff in the range sum mutable question. I would say 99% of the code is inspired by that itself. The segment tree node, it has the left node, the right node, the starting index, the ending index, and the sum value. The build tree method exactly doing the same kind of stuff, creating the segment tree node with start and end indexes. If these two becomes equal, we simply return the node. That means it's a leaf node. Otherwise, we go and find out the middle index and rebuild the tree from start till mid and mid plus 1 till end. And in the end, we simply return the node. Let's continue the process. We'll iterate in the reverse direction because we want to find out the count of lower elements to its right, not left. That's why we are doing it in the reverse direction. Then I'll go and update the tree with the recent value that we have added. And once we are done with the updation operation, we will try and search for the sum range, the nodes that lie within the tree, starting from the minimum value and up till the current value minus 1. So this is very important part. We are searching for all the nodes that lie within the range minimum up till the current value minus 1, and this count will be returned from this method, and in the end we simply cast it into a list of integers and return the answer set. So the question reduces to writing the update and sum range query methods efficiently. Let's go and check the logic for it. So the update method is again inspired by the range sum mutable question that we did, and pretty straightforward. If a node is null itself, we simply return back. Otherwise, we check whether it's a leaf node or not by comparing the node start and node's end with the index value. If this condition is met, that means it's a leaf node, and we update the node sum to 1. And using the recursion technique, the nodes across the parent path gets updated. Let's talk about the sum range helper method that we have created. It accepts 3 parameters: the root, the start of the range that we want to search for, the end of the range that we want to search for. If in any case the root becomes null, we simply abort the process. If my start range of search is greater than the end range of search, I abort the process because that's not possible, and I simply return 0 from it. The corner case again is a leaf node condition. If my root start is equal to the search start and my root's end is equal to the search end, that means we have found out the appropriate node, and we simply return root.sum as the answer. Otherwise, we go and find out the middle point. We check whether we need to move in a single-handed direction, and that condition is if my end search is less than equal to root's midpoint. If that is the case, then I move in the left direction. Otherwise, if I check if my start search index is greater than the midpoint, I need to move in the right direction. Otherwise, I need to move in both the directions, and mid will play an important part. The search for the left part would be from root.left, start, mid, up till mid, and search for the right part would be from root.right, mid plus 1, end. So here the starting search index is getting updated. Again, straightforward. If you'll go and once again read the complete logic, you will not find it difficult. Let's try this up, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day ahead, and thanks for watching it.